Here's a little Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly, that's not surprising. Eric Trump, that's not surprising. And you know what else isn't surprising? Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore, this is a video Jimmy Dore put out today from, I guess, last night's show. This one is foaming at the mouth for Trump's arrest. And then he's making some sort of face about Andrew Wortman has a thing. A whole 0 people showed up at the massive Trump protest that was supposed to take place outside the FBI in D.C. today. Which is, they don't, let's see. About the Jimmy Dore Show, hashtag, is a hilarious and irreverent take on news, politics, and culture featuring Jimmy Dore, a professional stand-up comedian, author, and Jesus Christ. Who wrote this? The CCP? We went on Fiverr and found someone, that does ESL descriptions. All right, so this is, let's see. I mean, obviously, there's going to be, replace your AC. All right, well, let's see. Wait.
You can buy an air conditioner online?
No.
Yup.
Nope.
I saw this today.
Hold on 1 second. Let me try this real quick. I didn't like it. Hold on 1 second.
All aglow. Kurt, they're all aglow. They're happy. This is Rob Reiner, the biggest shit lib in the world. So
by the way, the shit libs, that's Jimmy Dore's description of Rob Reiner and anybody, I suppose, that would be anti-Trump. You don't even have to be pro-Biden for this. It's enough to just be, anti-Trump. You're a shit lib for that.
I think followed politics a little closer than the dumbest guy at TYT, but Rob Reiner didn't.
What I like is how passionate he is, and he doesn't know much about it at all.
And again, I don't know what the fuck Kurt is talking about here. Like, Rob Reiner follows this stuff daily. Rob Reiner, because of his career, is independently wealthy with a lot of time on his hands and really gives a shit about this stuff. So obviously, he's aware of what's going on. And I don't know why Kurt is jumping to his defense. Like, obviously, the reason why Rob Reiner thinks Trump might be in trouble this time for real is because he just doesn't follow these things. He has a very pedestrian awareness of the facts.
Like, that's all you hear. There's a possibility that he put our nation in danger. I know it. And it's like Christmas, they're just waiting for Santa to come.
That's it.
This is an odd defense. Like, if you are a Trump supporter, I would totally get this. Like, this is the kind of thing that Tucker would say, or future Tucker guests, I suppose, would say, which makes sense, actually. They're still doing it. Even after a week when Mar-a-Lago was raided, they haven't given up on it yet. They haven't, the chickens haven't come home to roost. They haven't seen all the facts and decided, you know what, it's nothing. Huh?
So he tweeted out, and it got 91,000 likes. So this was very popular. After a live...
And I suppose that's supposed to be snide, but a recognition that it's true.
Unlike Joe Biden.
Yes.
After a life.
Also, what the fuck does that mean? Is that they make Hunter Biden references all the time, but this sort of like after a lifetime of criminality, he goes, unlike Joe Biden. Based on fucking what? It's really odd. Again, this would not surprise me coming from any kind of run-of-the-mill Trump supporting channel, but the illusion that somehow like Dore is somehow left of TYT or left of fucking anybody at this point it's just curious to me. It's just a running thing.
Trump will be indicted. He led an armed insurrection to overthrow the United States government, then stole highly classified documents that put our nation in danger. He is a traitor. He will be indicted. The walls are closing in. They were going nuts on Twitter over this. this guy doing? Oh, yes, it's gonna happen finally. 2 years after he got out of office, we're gonna get him.
It's good. I like seeing like
he is. The theory though is that he is going to run again, or that the criminality of what he did reaches the level where someone should get punished in a country where the law is equally applied. I guess the weirdest thing about this is Jimmy and Kurt and the miserable liberal, their sort of monarchical support for Trump, that he somehow should be immune from prosecution. This is effectively, it's like a uncharming version of what Diamond and Silk just said. It's the same thing.
Of like what of like Shitlib thought.
Yes, that's it.
Like so. Okay, that's what you think he did.
Now back to the honest politicians. Now we got rid of Trump. We just have the good guys left.
He led an armed insurrection.
And
the Viking hat guy.
There are people with guns there. We now know that. Again, the only people who aren't admitting that there were armed Trump supporters at that place are the armed Trump supporters. Actually, that's not true because they're admitting it in court. So everybody at Newsmax, Jimmy and Kurt.
There was no armed.
Yes, there was. For fuck's sake, man. Do we really have to go there? If I may. Let's start with the gun charges. In April, 72-year-old Lonnie Kaufman of Falkville, Alabama, was sentenced to 4 years in prison for bringing loaded guns, ammunition, and Molotov cocktail ingredients to Washington on January 6th. The weapons were found in his truck, parked less than half a mile from the Capitol building, which he left to attend the rally. A statement said that Kaufman also carried a loaded handgun and a revolver as he walked around the area that day. March 2022, 49-year-old Texan Guy Riffett was convicted, among other charges, for being unlawfully present on Capitol grounds while possessing a firearm and transporting firearms during civil disorder. Department of Justice indictment on January 2021 also states that Christopher Alberts of Maryland was found carrying a Taurus G2C semi-automatic handgun on Capitol grounds on January 6th. Off-duty DEA agent Mark Sami Ibrahim, 32, was also indicted by a grand jury for bringing a firearm within the United States Capitol and on its grounds. In an article for Newsweek, Nick Suplina and Justin Wagner of Everytown for Gun Safety said they have identified 12 individuals allegedly tied to the events of January 6 who were arrested in D.C. and charged with firearms offenses. The U.S. Capitol Police Division report also found posts on now defunct the Donald.win in the lead up to 6, where the report contained several comments that promote confronting members of Congress and carrying firearms during the protests. Further comments on the site included, "Bring guns, it's now or never." Don't cuck out. This is do or die. Bring your guns. Let's see. The underlying claim is, okay, this is the implies possession of firearms is somehow a condition for an insurrection. Yeah, that's you don't need guns for it to be an insurrection, but there were absolutely guns there. Just for the record. Jimmy should know this. This is kind of baseline.
Nobody had guns.
That's a lie.
Nope.
He doesn't even know that.
You don't even know that lots of people had guns. Lots of people had guns. Lots of people had other weapons, too. This isn't even a mystery. But the only people who are either willfully ignorant to this fact or are avoiding it, they're lying about it, are Trump fans, of which Jimmy is one.
It's like now killed those 3 black guys.
Yeah, it turns out he killed 3
Yeah, it's not the same category.
white guys.
Yeah.
No. No point did Rob Reiner say that Kyle Rittenhouse killed 3 black guys.
So, but the walls are closing in. Remember this?
Donald Trump's done. He's done. There's no question about that. He's done.
Breaking news.
A bombshell.
Today is a turning point. Today was historically bad for President Trump.
Today was a turning point.
A turning point.
We're at a turning point here.
The beginning of the end for the Trump presidency.
The beginning of the end.
And breaking news.
We have another bombshell.
Again, Jimmy is taking a moment to have a snack while they are playing a supercut of the many times that Trump should have seen some element of justice, but because he was president, he avoided it.
I have to assume the office of the presidency.
The call
Chew with your fucking mouth closed, man. Really?
for impeachment.
Rumblings of the word impeachment.
Breaking news.
Another bombshell out of the White House.
Again, what? All right, so this video is how long? Fucking hell. He's just playing.
Over and over.
You think this is a tipping point?
And over and over.
This is a tipping point.
This is a right-wing video that they're putting. He just plays this whole fucking thing. Hold on, and they're just.
Begins with the bombshell.
The beginning of the end?
The beginning of the end.
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 In fact, if this were a football game, we're in the third quarter. May even be the beginning of the end.
We begin tonight with the bombshell.
Again, I don't know why this is funny, other than the fact that you want him to avoid culpability for criminality. If you want him to have monarchical powers, if you want it to be, a situation where somebody like Trump can avoid any kind of, legal ramifications of his actions. Hold on one second. Let me do this. You guys got the bot? Thank you. Appreciate it. Hold on. I think I have it. Hold on. Oh. Don't freeze up. Quit it. Block there. Block there. Okay, cool. Got it. I'm so wanted. And again, this is, how long is this fucking thing? So they just played, he's just having a snack and watching a bunch of videos and just laughing at people who thought Trump was going to get busted.
The walls
We're closing in.
today changed everything. This is the beginning of the end. Today, the biggest.
Also, it's odd that, Jimmy didn't make this video. Somebody else did.
Tipping administration.
What a historic day. The bombshells, they fell.
It's entropy and it's crumbling internally.
He's underwater. He feels
The walls closing in. Could his testimony be?
He also, by the way, Trump did lose the election based largely on this stuff. But again, I guess the enjoyment comes from that must be, again, I'm not quite sure why Jimmy takes such joy in the media just not being right about the fact that Trump in any normal universe would have felt the legal impact of his actions.
Oh my God. So it's 2017 and 2018. So
Yeah.
every day, and by the way, beyond, they said that holding in a sneeze.
They're still saying it. They're still saying it. That's why I showed you this.
Oh my God.
They're still saying it.
It must feel like how,
Well, at some point, I think largely the hopefulness of the idea is that he would face some sort of legal ramifications for what he's done. Would he not? What is the point here other than Jimmy seems to think that Trump is bulletproof and it's awesome? Right? Is there any other aspect of this other than them just feeling like they're dunking on the press because Trump hasn't been busted yet?
orgasms for 3 days, except they did it for 4 years and they never. This is like tantric for them.
This is they've never gotten to nut. They're still doing this, and then so here's this: a whole 0 people showed up to the massive pro-Trump protest that was supposed to take place outside the FBI.
Again, also not sure why Jimmy is rooting for there to be a bigger show of force by Trump supporters at the FBI.
Quarter.
It's just an odd fight to pick.
See today. Oh, you got him.
It's not if you're gunning to be Steven Crowder Jr., which is really what this is. Jimmy has looked at Steven Crowder's studio and Steven Crowder's machine and has decided that's where he's headed next. Like, Rusty Rockets has decided to be hippie Alex Jones. Jimmy is trying to grab the sort of like anarchist liberal version of the Steven Crowder crowd and build on that financially. That's what this is.
They're raiding his closet because they're not afraid of him. That's right. You're right. It's nothing to see here.
You know, he gave the nuclear secrets to Putin is why.
This is why.
You saw Rob Reiner.
So...
You saw Rob Reiner. Yes, we all did, fucko. That was the clip. Don't smoke before the show. I don't care what the fuck you guys do the rest of the time, but Kurt, you have to lay off the weed before the show. It's too much. You can't handle it, and you drift. It's aggravating. Stay focused. You don't have to have like an Adderall milkshake like Ben Shapiro does before the show, but you can't just rip that big a bong off of some weed you got from a clinic that's 70% stronger than the same crop last year. It's not working.
With almost all the people that I knew and became friends with in Hollywood, Kurt, I don't know about you.
Jimmy is not friends with anyone in Hollywood. I don't know what the fuck that is.
They all think like this. They started paying attention to politics when Donald Trump became president, and then they thought the Democrats...
No, they didn't. They started paying attention to politics in around like post 9/11, where there was a big anti-Muslim sentiment, and they felt like that bigotry was taking hold in the country, and then a lot of them stayed through that, through even when John Kerry ran and Bush got in a second time, and then geared up effectively for Obama. That's how Obama became sort of a cause celeb. It was actually, I would argue, that Hollywood and a lot of the media elites got more involved and drove the Obama presidency because if they felt he was somebody they could get behind, that he was historic, he was smart, he was qualified, he would be a great candidate, and he was full of like, vim and vigor, and he said there's no red state, no blue state, there's just the United States of America. Like, the message was awesome. They didn't just decide when Trump got in.
The cause of Donald Trump.
And that's how Meathead turned into Archie Bunker.
That's right. It's the...
No. Archie Bunker's would be a Trump fan in this situation. At least fucking hell, man. And don't tell me Kurt's not old enough to know the reference, because he is.
Ever.
Yeah.
He went from Meathead to Archie Bunker.
No, he didn't. He's still... Everything he says is in line with what Meathead would have said on All in the Family. It's exactly the same.
And so all the people that I used to hang out with in Hollywood, they all think like this. Almost all.
By the way, Jimmy doesn't have any friends. What are you talking about? There is no like version of the past where he hung out. The only time he ever got a bigger circle than he always had was when he worked for TYT. They're the ones that expanded his, if he met any Hollywood types, it was the ones who were hanging around in the early days of, Katzenberger paying for TYT.
All of them. And so
I don't even know why he's laughing or what the meaning of that is. They better, because in Hollywood you have to, because it's liberal.
So it's become. Thank God I came to Los Angeles in 1995. So I at least had about 20 good years of without shit liberty taking over completely.
What? Shit liberty. First of all, there was no 20 years of Jimmy Dore operating and flowing in a open-minded Hollywood. Jimmy was always a Bill Hicks wannabe and just never had the chops.
Annoying amount of like, I don't need to know any more information than the thing that's in my heart right now.
That's right.
And
How is that? What the fuck are you talking about? How is that any indication of what Rob Reiner's argument in this situation is?
no self-awareness of how you're like that. That matchup of that is unbelievable. Like,
yeah,
people sat through that all the time.
No, it was not a running thing like that. There were so many moments where in a normal society, Donald Trump would have been fucked if he was held to the same standard as anybody else. That's what those are references to. That is not a reference to the media getting it wrong. That is a situation where our sort of celebrity society allowed someone like Donald Trump to skate on all this shit. You misspelled dog.
2018, right? I didn't even think they went into 2019.
And then like a third of those people are Me Too'd out of the business, by the way. How hilarious is that? Chris Matthews, this stupid face.
P.S. Jimmy was effectively Me Too'd out of TYT before all the Me Too stuff started. Also, I mean, Kurt's found a home.
Where'd he go?
Also, again, Chris Matthews being annoying and possibly gross, that has no bearing on, again, he got broomed. That is a great example, actually. Chris Matthews got broomed for some of his behavior. Meanwhile, Trump didn't. And what these guys are celebrating is not that Chris Matthews got broomed for his behavior, but that Trump somehow engaged in behavior that was worse and didn't. And somehow the argument from both of these assholes is that that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Abruptly. Hey, we're coming to Tulsa.
Oh God. So that is the entirety of that video. Fucking 60% of this video was him playing someone else's right-wing compilation while he ate cookies and chewed with his mouth open, which is just fucking, talk about Archie Bunker. What the fuck is that? What is that? Ah! Jesus Christ, man. Ugh. Yeah, it's like watching a movie. They just play a clip of somebody else's thing and go, look what we did. Again, this is the comedy on Jimmy's show. He steals Kurt's jokes, and then he steals other people's memes and stuff, and he plays pro-Trump, anti-liberal memes and takes credit for them. That's the show. That's the show. Ugh, it's fucking gross. Jesus Christ, man. Ugh. It looks like he's masturbating into his own mouth. Sorry. Ah, hideous. All right. So, all right, we watched enough of that. That's gross.